Hey, what's up guys? John here. Amazing news, Gavin Newsom's recall. We're about 80% of the way there, over 1 million signatures on the recall, which is just awesome. You know, these videos that I've done with Newsom, over 3 million views so far, and I feel like it's really helping get the ball down the road and it's moving this into a much better direction. You know, Newsom wants to essentially destroy California and turn it into a communist state to where he is the ruler, dictator, and God over 40 million people. Now, what he's doing right now is he's trying to roll out a new government dependence program that essentially will force the people to rely on the state. It's called universal basic income. He's trying to roll this out as well as taxing the hell out of grandma and doing everything he could possibly do to get his hands on your unrealized gains. Yeah, gains and profits that you haven't even realized yet. This is just a few of the things that he's trying to do. But he says it's all for good reason. He wants to put it to help the homeless, which is all another just a huge scam. Look at Prop HHH that just passed. $1.2 billion for the homeless. $500 million of that went to consultants, middlemen, and architects, they say. $500 million of taxpayer revenue just gone into thin air. You know, they have to build brand new construction, they say. $1.2 million per unit, they say, is what they need to do for the homeless. This is absolutely insane. The level of corruption in California through the most shady politicians in the country. And it's all just a big scam. But we together can get Newsom out of office and get California back on track. I believe, for the most part, California is Republican. It's not a democratic socialist state that they try to say that it is. It's a Republican state, but the whole thing is just fixed. It's a fixed game. But with Newsom out of office, we'll get this thing back on track and we'll move California back in the direction that it was once on, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s before it really kind of started going crazy. But the last couple of years have just been absolutely insane for California. Who the hell wants to own property here and run a business here when you're taxed to death, regulations are over the top, and you have no freedom? But together, we're going to get him out of office. Please hit that like button. When you do, it's going to tell YouTube to share the content. The more people that see it, the more people that will participate in the recall, and the better off we'll all be. All right, guys, let's begin. Assembly Bill 65, Universal Basic Income for California. Now, people have been talking about this for a very long time, to the point to where people almost don't believe it anymore. But right now, what they're doing is they're shutting down business, they're shutting down independence, and they're forcing government dependence. Now, universal basic income, I believe, is like a cancer on the soul of freedom. And it slowly grows and grows and grows before you're nothing except a slave to the state. And that's what they're trying to build out right now in California with these draconian lockdowns and unrealistic expectations to open up schools and get people back to work. Now I'm going to read this to you verbatim. Assembly Bill 65 reads as follows. Evan Lowe would create a universal basic income. It is like AB 2712 presented last legislative season, which proposed to raise money either through value-added tax, corporate taxes, or implementing a tax on services. Now, a value-added tax, essentially a VAT, is a tax that they put on everything that you buy. So if you go buy, let's say, eggs for $3, they'll add their tax on. Hypothetically, say it's 15 cents. So you pay $3.45 for this. Now, ultimately, what ends up happening is every time you're spending money, you're funding this universal basic income. But coincidentally, Gavin Newsom just passed a increased minimum wage. And this increased minimum wage essentially keeps climbing over and over and over again to the point to where small business struggles. He says he wants to help the average person. But what's the point of increasing minimum wage when you're also increasing their cost for them to buy goods and services in the state of California? Now, Assemblyman Lowe says that everybody gets the UBI in California. Everybody. You don't have to be a citizen of America. You can be anybody from anywhere in the world. Just be in California, you get free money. What's going to happen when we hit this massive recession in 2021 or 2022, when the Fed stops printing all this money, there's no stimulus and unemployment, people are going to be out of work, and they're going to say, hey, you get free money if you're in California. You're going to get all these people come to California basically for a way for them to survive. And I don't blame them. But the problem then becomes is business owners are going to be leaving with the high cost to do business, the massive regulation, and it just doesn't make sense for most businesses that can afford to leave. They probably will leave. So I think this is a really big problem. Also, if you look at the case studies in the 70s, Denver and Seattle both ran UBI programs. Epic failures. What happened was landlords found out they were getting UBI. They just jacked the rents up and transferred the money from the tenant to the landlord, and that's how it goes. The one thing about California is they're very charitable. They're very charitable with other people's money. Assembly Bill 71 is a way for them to drive $2.4 billion into a fund for the homeless. They say they really want to help the homeless. It's really just a funnel. It's a funnel for them to steal from the people. But Assembly Bill 71, what this does and how they actually get their money is so sick and twisted, you could only believe it if it were in California. Now, Assembly Bill 71 is Luz Rivas and David Chu. I'm going to read it verbatim just because it's unbelievable. Creates a $2.4 billion homeless fund. The devil's in the details. However, and the bill suggests the money could come from increases in income taxes on individuals making over $1 million a year. Now, we already have the highest income taxes in the entire country. The entire country. They want to increase it again. Increasing corporate income taxes and collecting taxes on increases in the value of assets through marking to market unrealized capital gains and the repeal of step up in basis of inherited assets. So they want to tax you on gains you have not even yet realized. Imagine you bought a bunch of stock in Amazon in the 90s for $100 a share, and now it's $3,000 a share. That unrealized $2,900 gain across your entire portfolio per share, they want to come after you for a tax for buying a really good, really recognizing a great value and buying it and holding on to it. They want to come after you and tax you. So what they're essentially doing is they're taking that $2.4 billion ideally, and taking half of it, and that's going to likely go to consultants and architects and everybody else. And they're going to then take the other money, the $1.2 billion, and build 1,000 units. So at a $1.2 million per unit, they're going to build 1,000 units. But what they could do is they could go buy 8,400 apartments. 8,400 apartments at $143,000 a door, like this example right here, and buy all these properties outright in cash. How can you go about trying to build a business plan around stealing from other hardworking people, stealing from the citizens of California who supported the state for many generations, most of them, and you're going to come in and steal everything that they've worked for so you can send it out to somebody else? It's theft. It's wrong. But this is California. And I've saved the craziest one for last. They want to change the voting system in California. Yeah, we already all know that he signed a bill, Gavin Newsom signed a bill in 2020, saying in 2021 that all the voting will be by mail in California. But that's not good enough. They now want to change the 2/3 requirement to where generally you need 2/3 of the vote to pass something, especially when it comes to sales tax or parcel tax or something on those parameters. They want to change that and break that system entirely, so they need less votes. This is what it says verbatim. Assemblywoman Cecilia Curry would repeal the 2/3 vote threshold to pass local sales and parcel tax for infrastructure and affordable housing projects. This direct attack on Prop 13 is the camel's nose under the tent and part of a long-term strategy to strip away the 2/3 protections on tax increases. So they're going to basically continue increasing taxes as much as possible on the products you buy, as well as the properties you own. It's just, it never ends in California. It's just one tax after the next and one freedom gone after the next. These politicians are trying to take this state into a really scary, scary place. California is already really bad. We've already lost so many great businesses like Tesla and Hewlett-Packard and Oracle, and tens of thousands of small businesses have left. But that trend will continue unless we can get Gavin Newsom out of office, which I feel like we really will. With over 1 million signatures already signed in the petition, I think we can get there probably in the next couple weeks. And if we hit that threshold of 1.5 million and Gavin Newsom ends up getting recalled, what is going to happen is the new person that's going to take place of him is going to take this state into a much better direction, one that's pro-business, like Florida ideally. Look at DeSantis and how he's running Florida. Businesses are open, things are great, and a lot of high net worth individuals are going there with their businesses and creating jobs and opportunities for the citizens of Florida. That's what we need in California, and I believe together we can do this and get them out. Get Garcetti and Newsom and get all of these really just problems out of California, and we'll get right back on track. If you want to help everyone in California get this back on track, all you have to do is just hit that like button. Just hit it until it turns blue. YouTube will share the content, and when they do, more people will see it, and more people can participate in the petition. If you want to get active in the petition, it's pinned at the top comment below. You can simply take a look at it. If you can fill it out, that would be amazing. Share it with a friend that's in California. And the number one thing, if we don't do something about this, then New York, all these other states are going to continue progressing in the way that they're going, and then ultimately, these beautiful, beautiful locations are going to turn into living hellholes. Absolute nightmares in America. So let's get rid of these people. Let's get right back on track. And consider subscribing for more honest information on the economy, real estate, and business. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.